Welcome to Immigration Quicktake. This is Belle Woods with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. As the deadline for funding the Department of Homeland Security looms tonight at midnight, there's a lot of confusion and concern out there since no final votes have been taken and no bill yet sent to the President. Here to give us a rundown about action on the Hill is Greg Chen, AILA's Director of Advocacy. Greg, thanks for joining us. There are a lot of questions swirling about whether Congress will act before midnight tonight. Can you tell us what is happening today on the Hill relating to DHS funding?
Well, Belle, we're really down to the wire here on the DHS budget bill because DHS funding expires at midnight tonight. What we're seeing happen right now is that the Senate just voted for a clean DHS bill to go through the end of September on September 30th. So that's already gone through. The House is about to vote right now on a 3-week continuing resolution, also on funding for DHS without any amendments attached to it. If that bill passes, then those two bills don't quite match up, and the two chambers would have to agree upon either a compromise or one of those two bills, a 3-week version or a full through the end of the year version to fund DHS. If they can't do that, we are looking at an impasse as of midnight tonight. And the chambers would probably have to stick around to fix something in very late tonight or through tomorrow. The other thing that just happened is that a bill proposed by Senator Collins, a Republican, received an initial cloture vote. That bill would remove the power from President Obama and any funding for him to implement most of the executive action plans. The bill failed on the initial motion to proceed. That's a procedural vote, and it's not clear what's going to happen next on that.
Thanks, Greg. So once funding is done, what do you see coming up next week?
Well, assuming we do get the funding through sometime today or late tonight for DHS, next week the first thing that will likely be on the radar screen is this Collins bill. It's possible there could be some movement on it today, but more likely the Republicans will try to move forward with it after they get enough votes to move it forward next week. And then they will want to press it forward as quickly as they can to get an actual vote on that bill. Right now it's not clear that they have the votes to push that through, and I think it would fail. So the Republicans have some strategic choices to make about how to attack the president's executive action plans, which is really what has engendered all this fight about DHS and the budget to begin with.
So that's the Senate, but what about the House? Do you think they're going to be working on immigration bills next week?
Well, that's an interesting question because it's a resounding yes, and there are actually 4 bills that the House has scheduled for markup in the Judiciary Committee. Those include the SAFE Act, which is an enforcement-only gargantuan bill with lots of dangerous provisions in there that AILA finds harmful. Also an E-Verify bill, also an asylum bill, and finally a bill that would amend the trafficking bill laws protections for unaccompanied alien children. AILA is going to be actively looking into each of those bills. Some of them we already are on record opposing, such as the SAFE Act, as well as the asylum bill that was proposed already last June. But it's going to be a very ugly fight, I think, is what we'll see in Judiciary, partly because that chamber already is very contentious, and the Judiciary Committee itself has some staunch immigration advocates on the Democratic side, and Republicans has some of the strongest, more restrictionist viewpoints on the Republican side. So I think we'll see a very ugly battle about the big picture of immigration moving forward next week in the House.
Thanks, Greg, for joining me. For the rest of you, please stay tuned for more updates from the American Immigration Lawyers Association.